Good. Start that again. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Ox Fit podcast. One of them days. One of them days. Holidays are coming up. Two sick kids. I think I smell like puke, and I don't want to say what else. Um, but yeah, let's get this thing started. Happy Tuesday. How we doing? It's one of them days. I'm sure all parents know what it feels like when you are pushing towards the holidays and trying to get everything done, but then everybody gets sick. And so you just got to just be like, this is the moment in time that I'm in right now. My number one job is to change 19 diapers this morning. And yeah, just get on with it. Just get on with it. Make it happen. I wanted to talk about how do you stay healthy during this season and how you avoid getting sick. What are some of your guys' strategies before my guest comes on? Some of my strategies. So I take Zycam if I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. A bunch of different ways to take it. You can like get a nasal spray. I like the ones that you just melt on your tongue. It's just like a little tab. It's about this big. You just throw it in your mouth. The only problem with the tabs is they change the way food tastes for a little bit. You know, like when you eat an orange, or like when you've brushed your teeth and then you eat an orange and it tastes funny. It's kind of like that with the Zycam stuff. Then I like to get outside as much as possible. Um, it's all about sunlight, right? It's all about getting outside. It's all about getting fresh air. The more fresh air you can get, the more sunlight you can get. I think just the healthier you feel and the better you feel. And it's difficult, right? Like yesterday was freezing cold and you're tempted to just put on a ton of layers when you go. Like I still have to go to the playground, otherwise my kids are crazy. So tempted to just throw in a bunch of layers and go, but then you're not getting any sunlight, right? If you're covered up. So I just worked out. I kept my shorts on. I put a jacket on, and I kind of treat it like hot and cold therapy, So I always find like being cold is like a state of mind, right? So if you really go like it's freezing cold outside and you go outside and you're going to feel cold. But if you walk outside and you're like, "Oh, this is good for me. This is going to make me feel better." Then you don't feel quite as cold. So just something to think about. Something to try out because you've got to get as much of your skin exposed to the light as you can, otherwise there wasn't much point going outside. So the other thing I talked about on my top five supplements last week was vitamin D, right? So like that is what the sunlight is. So if you're not getting it, you've really got to take some kind of vitamin D. I have one that I take for my kids that I'll bring on next episode. One that I give to my kids that I'll bring on next episode, so we can talk about that one. But yeah, what do you try? What do you do in the holidays? When I get stuffy now, Caitlin really helped me out. I do like a nose spray in the shower and just like get it all the way in there, and then like it's gross, but get it all back out. And being in the hot shower, the steam helps. And then I take contrast showers too, so I go hot and cold, which I think really opens up your lungs before you get out the shower. So I am not going to get a cold plunge ever, I don't think. I don't know if you guys out there have a cold plunge, but I think it's like Pelotons. I think everybody gets them and then they become clothes hangers. And I don't think anybody really wants to get in freezing cold water like that. So I'm going to go outside, get cold outside. And then when you come back in, it feels nice. But yeah, lunchtime today, if you work in an office, go get outside. Everybody needs some more time outside. Good camera quality. Thanks, Keeks. This is my new office computer, so new Mac. I was going to get a camera. I think I still might, but I mean, it is pretty good, right? It works really well, so we'll see. So I got someone joining me at like 10:15 this morning. I'm just trying to get this caffeine down me so I can have some energy for this, but it's a beautiful day. Sun's out. Going to work out later on this afternoon. We're having a great week. So yeah, tell me some of the things you do. Oh, here we go. Keith's in the chat. Let's go personally. Coming off catching cold flu is emergency and the humidifier. Yeah, my kids have a humidifier. Um, Also, we use I can't remember who told us. I think it was like Naja told us about the menthol crystals, which we use when the kids are really stuffed up, and we like you boil some water, throw in the crystals, take it into the bathroom, and then it like as well as the hot water. Um, yeah, don't forget it's Kiki's birthday week. Garlic. So, but garlic, Kiki, I know your hippie style. Garlic is something that you use. Um, it's something that you use like after you're sick, right? That's not a preventative thing. So, Keith, emergency. You said coming off of catching it. So, is that something you use preventative too, or is that something that you use like on a daily basis? So, vitamin C. I don't take a vitamin C. I take a vitamin D, a lot of vitamin D now, and then I take the Zycam if I'm feeling a little bit off, so extra zinc. But I also take ZMA before bed, so it's a lot of zinc. All right, let's see. We got a special guest coming in. Let's see what he does. Good morning.
Hey, Ant, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's
Good. We're just talking about before you joined what preventative things you take during like this flu kind of season. Are there any supplements you take? Do you take like someone say an emergency? I do Zycam, which if I'm feeling a little off, I just do that, and it's like extra zinc. Anything you do specific?
yeah, I have emergency. And otherwise, I mean, I get my flu shot like a good boy,
Oh, you do?
and yeah, I'm pretty regimental about that. Just every year, get it. I've found when I do end up getting the flu, regardless if I've gotten the vaccination, I just have it less intensely. So for me, it's worth it. Easy trip to Walgreens. So
Yeah. I only got the flu shot once. That was when I had to come like for my citizenship or whatever.
oh yeah.
But I've never got it since just because like they never know which flu they're treating. You know what I mean? So I've never really felt it necessary. But some people like it. I think also there's like that um what is it called? The placebo effect, right? Like it might make you just get through it quicker if you feel like you're more prepared, you know? So it's all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
It's just peace of mind for me.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Love it.
yeah.
Well, welcome to the Oxfit podcast.
Awesome.
Um,
Thank you for having me.
we're right in the middle of a very difficult month for most people, health and fitness wise, right? Um, but you decided to not wait until January to get healthy, and you're crushing it right now, right? How do you feel right now? Like, how is Eric's health and fitness right now?
Yeah, I feel great. Like this is normally the time of year, as you mentioned, it takes mental fortitude to get through the holidays. My family specifically, like when we get together, we're all good cooks, so we're always in the kitchen. You know, the drinks are flowing. You know, you're back with family you haven't seen in forever, and you tell yourself, oh, it's just this weekend, and then you have Christmas coming right up, and then the New Year's, and so it's just really easy to, I think, get off of the routine.
Mm.
Um, so for me specifically, I didn't necessarily want to wait till January 1st because I think it's easy to tell yourself you're going to start on January 1st, but there's too many things starting on January 1st because we are just procrastinators by nature. And I'm pretty bad about that myself. So this year it was really just give myself a little kick in the ass sooner, and just keep the routine going. And yeah, it's been great. I think you and I started working together in September. And getting up in the mornings, if you miss that morning workout, still hitting it in the afternoon, following the diet regimen, the supplements, and it's had a just huge effect on just my everyday baseline, really.
Mm.
And this time
Talk,
of year where
talk
it
to me
start,
about talk
oh,
to me
go
about
ahead.
before you came to Oxford. So like, um, I think how old are you?
34.
34.
Yeah.
And so you were in that mode. I think I remember from when we first sat down where you're coming into your mid 30s, right? When you're in your 20s, it was just like you could have a couple of months and just bounce right back, right? Like you could have like Thanksgiving to Christmas and just pig out and then you just right back to it. But now with your job being a little more serious, like you having actual responsibilities now in your mid 30s, right? Like it's just you're in a different place where it wasn't as easy to just be like bounce back right into it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think much more quickly you see the impact of any lacks that you give yourself, just going on a week hiatus. It really has a bigger impact than it might have before. And you're just not, as you mentioned, not as elastic as you might have been when you were younger. And it's not even just, physical mobility type thing. It's just everything in the process of cutting weight, and getting back in that routine. I just find the more variance you allow yourself, the more difficult you're making it on yourself moving forward. So that's been a big thing, is just consistency.
Mm.
Because as long as you do something a little bit every day, you don't really have to pay big debts later on. So that's definitely been big for me.
Yeah. So what was it that made you take the leap into like, I'm going to do this rather than, well, I've done it before or I can just figure it out? What was it that was like, no, this time I need somebody to help me out and just like be on me a little bit? Where did that come from?
I think honestly, just trial and error and a lot of error. I think it was a lot of starts, and too many stops. And you know, a lot of people as they get into their early 30s, I think have a bit of this mental crisis of like, oh, I'm not necessarily young anymore. And it's not a full blown crisis, but it goes through everyone's head. And so it was kind of just like, as I go into when I turn 35, like what type of shape do I want to be in? Because I think from that, there are two very divergent paths. I think for a lot of people at that point, it's either I'm going to let it go and just let myself go a little bit and just accept that I'm getting old. And, you know, everyone ages. It's something that you do have to accept, but it's something that you can definitely embrace in a more positive way in taking care of your body, taking care of your health, and just feeling better for longer. I think I had some friends when I was living in Vancouver, and I was working at Lululemon. I had a lot of friends who, mentally, when we hung out, we were on the same plane, but they were 10 years older than me. But what they had done was maintain a really active fitness based lifestyle. They do high rocks and all of that. And I think those were good role models for me, because I saw kind of the happiness that brings you later on, and continuing to challenge yourself, and not really like letting yourself go, as a lot of people just accept their fate.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's not as easy to bounce back, right? So it's not that you just, I don't think it's that you just give up. It's just that you don't bounce back. And then if you put on 5 pounds a year for the next 5 years,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's 25 pounds. And now you're like, oh, okay, that's a different place than you were. And then if you did that from 30 to 40 and you've done it for 10 years, right? And now you're 50 pounds overweight, right? Put on that 50-pound weight vest and try and go back to what you were doing before. Like if I put on a 50-pound weight vest today and tried to do what I do on a normal day-to-day basis, I would not be as effective, right? Like
Yeah.
it would, my knees would start aching and then I would be back to square one. And you see how people can easily bounce back and forth, right? And then, like you said, you got real responsibilities. You start to level up at work. Like you can't just be like, well, I'm going to take a week where I just work out and eat like this. because you might have worked 7 days last week, or you might be traveling. Like you're always traveling all over the place, right? So it just becomes a lifestyle that creeps up on you. I think I've found.
Yeah, it's too easy to wake up and realize you weigh 215 pounds when your baseline when you were in your 20s was 180, 185. It
Yeah.
definitely, and it's just 5 pounds a year, as you said.
Yeah, it really creeps up. And then you look at your like bosses and things like that. And you've got to acknowledge, like, is this the lifestyle that I want? Like you said, when it was at Lululemon and it was everybody was active, that might have been like, hey, we're all going doing a 5K this weekend, or we're all going and doing this weekend, compared to, hey, we're all going to this restaurant, or we're all going for drinks here. Very different, cultures there, right? So
Oh yeah, and I came from my first job was management consulting, and I came out of college, and college was easy. Like you were doing intramurals, you had the fitness center right there. Everyone, as we just talked about, was elastic to the point where you could go out and have 6 beers and hop up the next morning, and if your friend wanted to run a 5K, like you could do that. But after that point, it's really not the same.
right. So
Yeah.
how were you feeling right before you started working with me? Like where were you mentally and physically at that point?
When we started working back in September, I and you know this, like I have a pretty high grind job. I love what I do, but there's just there's hard and fast deadlines, and it's very easy, I think, for me to let work kind of take over, and pull those long hours and just deprioritize other things, which in the short term seems like the right decision, but when you stretch that out over the course of a year, it has a really detrimental impact on your mentals and your physicals. So I think when we started working together in September, I was kind of in that place where I think you put a lot of stress on yourself leading up to summer. And summer hit, and I was just like, whatever. My fitness is where it is right now. I'm gonna enjoy the summer. So when you and I started working together, I was kind of coming off, honestly, a really a period of relaxation and enjoyment outside of work, but still working pretty hard. So I would say, my fitness was not near the level it's been at in the past. And you probably saw that in our first test session together. Like waking up in the morning, hadn't really, I gotten some movement in, but it was very routine based. Go for the same run, go for the same 2-3 miles, couple days a week, and you're not really challenging yourself, and there's not really a lot of variability in what you're doing, the movements. And so I felt like my strength and my flexibility were really not in a great spot either. And really just having packed on a couple extra pounds, I mean, your endurance suffers as well. So I definitely felt it on that first day, where it was just something I kind of put on the back burner, my fitness. And so when we started working together, I was definitely in, um, you know, not my best, I'd say.
Yeah. And you I think you first came in and then you kind of put it off because I think of the summer, and you were just like, I'm kind of traveling and doing all this stuff. And then you started, but then it was like, oh, a couple of weeks, I got to go away for a week. Right. And it was like, right as we were getting into it, it was like, what should we do? Should we wait? And I was like, we're not waiting. Right. We got to go now. We got to start building these habits. We'll figure it out while you're away. And then when you get back, right back to it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would have been like, well, for one of these weeks I'm away, so I'll just wait until I get back. And if we would have done that, it would have been like probably like maybe we're just getting started now, right? Because everybody's busy, everybody's got things they're going to, but you deciding like, hey, we can figure this out while we're away. You got incredible results right from the start, and
Yeah.
even while you're on vacation, still just like I think you kept a few good habits while you were there, but didn't really like 100%. You were just like, I'm just going to eat these certain foods and I'm going to try and move a little bit while I'm away, and still got results while you were away.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing about your schedule is 4 or 5 weeks from now is always empty. And so it's very easy to tell yourself, oh, I'll just start after this little push. But, over time, your schedule is going to get busier and busier. Things are going to creep in, and you're just going to continue to delay. There's never the perfect time. And so just start today, and just, kind of suck it up and just get started. And, it won't be a perfect path. There's always going to be little things that get in your way, and just finding ways to work around it. One thing for me, I travel a good bit. And so one thing that I've learned is I always pack extra. I pack workout clothes and tennis shoes no matter where I'm going in my bag. And I just find that 20, 30 minutes a day to get some movement in. If you're in a hotel, you can do it in the hotel room. Most hotels have fitness centers. That makes it easy. Pop out for a run. You can just get creative with it. And I think that's another really good thing that I've liked with OXFit is having the at-home portion or DIY. You might not have, free weights or whatever where you are, but that's no excuse to not just move. And I think with going to enough classes, you've seen enough where you can create your own variants with what you have available, and just really do a good body workout, because we do a lot of that in class. You don't need the full squat rack to get good movement.
Yeah. So your results over the 8 weeks were pretty awesome, right? Like, I can't remember what you beat your workout time, but I think it was something like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Your
it was.
baseline time.
I forget the exact, but it was a good decrease. I
looked at it yesterday because I put on the thumbnail. But the cool thing for me was you going from I think it was 5 pull-ups to 13 pull-ups in just 8 weeks, and then you went from was it 10 to 25 push-ups.
Yeah.
And when you the weight scale for you, our main priority wasn't let's get down 40 pounds. Your main thing was I want to feel better again, and I want to get in shape, right? And obviously I want to look a little bit better. You only lost maybe 10, 15 pounds, but you also added muscle, got twice as strong in 8 weeks. And for me, as much as the scale is important for some people, the results for me and yours are doubling your reps on pull-ups and push-ups. And
Yep.
your body looks completely different in that time. You went from kind of almost getting pear shaped to getting back V shaped again, right? It was almost like a straight line, and then all of a sudden your shoulders are poking out. And
that's generous. That was more of a barrel, I think.
Yeah, like a barrel to a V shape. Yeah. And if you said, "Oh, I went on this program and I lost 5 to 10 pounds," people would be like, "Well, that seems like a waste of time." But when you look at the actual results, 3 minutes fitter, doubled my pull-ups, doubled my push-ups. You're a different person in that 8 weeks.
Yeah, and that's something that I saw coming, and weight-wise, which is I've always been pretty quick to add muscle. But what that means is, you might feel like you're working really, really hard and not necessarily dropping the pounds, but what you're doing is you're replacing bad weight with good weight. And so that was something that I knew was coming. And I was really, really happy with just the tone that I was able to get in that short period of time. And we talked earlier about the process and why start now. We talked a lot about the holidays, and it's easy to fall off now. And I really think the beauty of it is when you don't put too much pressure on yourself for the results in that period. When we're talking about things like weight loss, I think looking at it with a longer time frame and telling yourself this is just the beginning, and what I'm doing is setting a foundation and building consistency. I'm not worried if I lose 10 versus 15 pounds over these couple weeks, because I'm going to keep this going. And it'll be a couple pounds every week until I'm, at a really comfortable place. And a weight that I feel very happy at. And so that was the mentality that I had. And that's also why I started sooner. I think, when you procrastinate and save things to the last minute, a lot of times you'll get it done, but you put so much pressure on yourself. Sometimes you'll break. And then other times when you're done, you've killed yourself, and then you just release and you give it all up, and you drop everything, and say, I'm going to reward myself, or I'm just going to take a break for now. And that's where we talked about, you're not necessarily as elastic. You're going to add those things right back on. So
Yeah.
I think for me it was just really with a longer time horizon, and seeing this as just the beginning and a longer journey, to get back in a place I was happy with. And I think, first test to second test, it was really endurance was a huge change. Strength was obviously there, but I think the other thing, especially like pull-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, I think just mobility overall. I've had a bad shoulder, and so being able to build that back up, like that strength around those weak ligaments, was like absolutely a huge win for me as well, because I can just go through my day-to-day life with more comfort.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, you've pretty much nailed. I've never heard anybody say everyone's free 4 weeks from now, but I love that as an expression, right? Like your life looks like it's gonna be great in a month's time, but like you said, it's gonna get filled up
Yeah.
with stuff, right? And that's such a yeah, I've never heard that expression before. I love that. So start now. And also, I think if you start at a busy time, like you just said, if you're waiting for everything to be perfect, as soon as it's not perfect, you're gonna jump right back to what you were doing before. But
Yeah.
if you already start where life is right now today, then you're gonna figure out the best way to do it that is just consistent, which is what you did, rather than I need these perfect conditions. And if I don't have these perfect conditions, I can't start this.
Yeah.
But you just start today, no matter what the conditions, then you adjust. And it's like, well, for me and you, the thing that I think I'm extremely happy with is like, we didn't, if I look back on working with you, yeah, you're stronger, you're fitter, you look awesome. But you also came in, you just like, I just want a better rhythm to my life, right? Like, and one of the big habits we're talking about is like finishing work earlier, spending more time with my girlfriend, like just all kinds of things that are like, this is something that in this 8 weeks, I know that 2026, you can have a better health, fitness, relationship, better, you know what I mean? Like your job, a better relationship with your job. It's so much bigger than I think fitness is a keystone to everything else, right? Like
Oh
I
yeah.
always talk about people get their first pull up in our gym and they quit their job, right? Or like you've done this now. Like, what is this going to be the catalyst to in 2026 for you? And I think it's just going to be a better relationship, a better, your career path, take a different route. You just setting yourself up for your 30s that are just going to be more healthy. And healthy doesn't necessarily mean health and fitness. They're just a cornerstone of life.
Oh yeah. And it's all a flywheel. You know, you might be busy. And I think the benefit of carving out time when you're busy is you start really, it's forced prioritization. Like you have a lot of things that you can fill your day with. You can always take on more work. Like there's always more work, and you can always pull schedules forward and kill yourself in the office. But when you start to set aside that time, it's a forced prioritization where you just, I think, get in a healthier balance in the other areas of your life as well, because you have to push back in order to make space for these new things. When we were at Lululemon, actually, that was like one of the things I love the most about working at that company. Like you had personal vision and goals, and I remember like you had 3 health goals, 3 professional goals, and 3 personal goals, and you would write those down. You'd share them with your whole team, like publicly share them with the team. Our CFO had in the lobby of the office, his goals were posted, and one of the goals was that in 3 years' time, he didn't want to be working at Lululemon. He wanted to be kind of more in his retirement stage, and So it was a very open thing and a very positive thing with a lot of encouragement around it. I just remember we had like a late day meeting. My director walked in and my senior vice president looked at him and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for the meeting." And she said, "You have photography class. Like that is in your goals. Get out of here." And she wouldn't let him walk in the door. And so that was kind of where I realized, put telling people and advertising what's important to you outside of work is a practice that you need to get into. And it very quickly signals as well, if someone's not okay with that, saying, "Hey, I have a workout. I want to move for an hour a day. It's just good for my health." If someone tells you that's not acceptable, you need to find somewhere else, because like that is not someone who has their own priorities in order and should not be controlling how you do your life. So that's really important. But it's also just a flywheel of when you're not sleeping and you're not eating right, your focus slips. You can only focus now for 30 minutes at a time. When you're like well rested, well fed, have a lot of energy, I find like I can now sit down and focus for 1 to 2 hours at a time before taking like a 10-minute break. And that just means that you're saving yourself time because you're knocking out your work quicker, and now you're creating more space to be active in those hours outside of work, because you are just a more efficient person. So that's been a really big boost for me as well. Like I didn't work out yesterday. I worked out today in the morning, and I just night and day the difference in my energy level in these hours of like 9 to 11 a.m. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the grass looks greener and the sky looks bluer after a workout in the morning, right? And you're ready to just get down to work. Whereas, like you said, your routine before was you ending up working at like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And one of our goals is, hey, we're going to get up every day. You're going to come to this 7 a.m. class. And then you're stopping working at, I think, eventually, first we said 6. Then maybe
Yeah.
we moved it to 7. It was like 7's the cutoff.
Yeah.
And that's going to be time where now maybe I'm going to start cooking with my
Yeah.
wife, and I mean my girlfriend, and that just the way I'm going to have just a better balance of life. And like you said, if you have a job that is like, why are you not responding to my emails at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night? Again, the same thing, right? Like me and my wife have been like trying to talk about like not all money is good money, right? And like trying to figure out like what that means. Cause like around the holidays, it's tempting for us to be like, it's a busy time in the gyms. We need to work 24/7. We need to fill it up. Everyone's looking for a gym. But what are we missing? Like our kids are about to have Christmas, right? Like what do we want to prioritize there? It's like, well, if somebody is messaging that they really want to get in the gym now and they've put it off till this part of the year, if they can't put it off one more day because we didn't get back to them because we were with our kids, then they probably weren't gonna be a good member anyway, right? Like, so like it's just like where do you put your energy is so important. And we could have been talking a year from now if you didn't sign up for this, and it could have been like, well, my girlfriend moved out because I was never spending time with her because I was always at work, and I'm 50 pounds heavier now. And like, you know what I mean? Like it's such a contrast to where we're at, where like you've set up these routines, you're stronger, you're fitter, you're feeling better, better focus. And your priority that we worked on was having more time in the evening to be able to cook with your girlfriend and like build your relationship there. So just in all aspects, it's awesome to see like there's a different look in your eyes when you come in now to when you came in and you were kind of like tired, you know? Now
Oh
when you
yeah.
come in, you're excited and it's like a different Eric, you know?
Yeah, and I think what's great too is just you guys have built such a good community there, where I think the first 1 or 2 weeks it was kind of, oh, is Ant going to be there today? If not, might introduce myself to one or two people, but probably going to be pretty quiet. But now, when I walk in, it doesn't. I even I think my past 3 workouts I've done 5 p.m., 6 a.m., and 7 a.m. I've been all over the place these last couple of days, but once again, just whenever it happens, get a workout in. And what I've loved though is just every single time I walk in now, like there's a couple names who might be new or faces, and you introduce yourself, you high five, and you encourage each other during the class. But otherwise, it's just like it's all familiar faces and just a really positive environment, and that helps too. That makes it more fun. It's fun when you can go in there and joke around with people and listen to music, and it's just like a nice hour-long escape. Some people wouldn't call it an escape when you're sitting in a 2-minute plank, but it is an escape where you don't really think about the other things and the time goes by quickly. And it really helps, and it's become a very positive part of my day as well. Just social interaction is a huge underrated component, I think, also.
Awesome. So you've built this foundation. You've built these good keystone habits now. Like you're feeling good. What are some of your goals now going in 2026? Like, how do you want to build on this? And I'm not like saying, do you want 10 habits or anything like that? But like, is there a way that you want to keep this going? How do you get through the holidays? Like, what is your mindset now?
Yeah, the mindset going through the holidays is really just, I think it's just being responsible and consistent. Like, am I going to have a couple of glasses of wine with my sisters who I miss very much because one of them lives in Denver? Yes, absolutely. Like, I'm going to take those little pleasures, but you know, still finding time through that and not telling myself that, oh, I'm just going to reset on Jan 1 and just remaining consistent. And then headed into next year, I definitely think, it's a continuation path on the strong foundation that I've set in the fall, and just continuing down that road. And then I mentioned, half marathon coming up in August. I got to a point where I wasn't really doing a lot of upper body and just running a lot. Like it was easy. Like I didn't have to book a class. I didn't have to do anything. And I was living somewhere else at the time. I could just hop out on the belt line and go for a run. And I started doing that, but I found like running on pavement that often not great for your joints, and so just finding better balance. But I think I've shifted back a little now, where I probably haven't been on a dedicated run in a couple weeks. So I think I'm going to start more of a running regimen, and just building up my endurance. You know, long endurance, but also just time on feet a little bit, so I can go crush that half marathon in August with a couple friends. So that's kind of my big fitness event for the year, which I'm really excited about. Otherwise, it's just consistency and building on the foundation I've set so far.
Yeah, just knowing that you feel at your best, you work at your best, you're the best version of you when your fitness, your nutrition, and some other habits, when to shut off work. No, I think was one of them like not looking at your phone or
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
more or something like that. There was a
Yeah,
bunch of
no phone like an hour before bed. Like don't look at that screen, read a book, do something easier on the eyes and the brain. Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're at like almost 40 minutes, so thank you for joining me. And thank you for, like committing to it. And I think the key message from, you is just start now, right? Like, don't wait. Everyone's free 4 weeks from now is one of my new favorite expressions. But in 4 weeks' time, your life's going to be just as crazy as it is right now. So stop waiting. Whatever you want to do, start now while it's messy. Even better, if it's more difficult now, them habits when life gets easier and lighter are going to be so easy to follow through with. So find a way, get started. And I think Eric would agree, hire a coach that holds you
Yeah,
accountable.
100%, and specifically Ant. He's been great. But yeah, that was It's start now, and if you need to build in flexibility, that's okay. I really appreciate you guys, willing to budget in a week if I had vacation in the middle. Because the reality is that's going to be what life is like going forward. You're not always going to have an uninterrupted 8 week period. So just start now and learn to manage around the obstacles. That's the only way you're going to build consistency. So
Let's go. Love it.
yeah.
Thank you, man.
All right, man. Thank
All
you.
right.
Good to
Have a
see you.
great day. Thanks for joining me. And
All
let's
right.
do it
Thank you.
again
Well,
after your half marathon.
yeah, will do, man.
All
I'll
right,
see
buddy.
you later.
Bye. Woo! Awesome. What did you guys think of that? What a great message, right? I've never thought of it that way before, but everyone's free 4 weeks from now. Your schedule looks wide open in 4 weeks, but in 4 weeks' time, you're going to be just as busy. And I think, yeah, like Kiki said, let's go, Eric. But yeah, Eric's been a good client for me because, like most people get to a point where they're 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight when they're coming to me. And it's like, now it's an emergency, right? Like now I got to get in shape. My doctor says this, my doctor says that. But I think Eric's such a good message because he's not that overweight. Like he looked pretty good in his before picture. Like he was only 200 pounds. He did look a little like a barrel, but he still had muscle. But then he only dropped 10 pounds and now he feels amazing because he knew he was just on the wrong path, right? And like Caitlin says here, it's more than just fitness, it changed lives. And I think he would agree that like he's a better person, he's a better, boyfriend, he's a better employee. And he has way more energy. Like when he first walked into me, he was kind of just like, I don't feel great, blah, blah, blah. Like that's his attitude. And then when you see him, most people will agree. Like when I posted that I was doing a podcast with him, I got messages from people like Eric's a beast, like he's a beast now. And if you're in that place where you're like late 20s, early 30s, life's starting to change a little bit, you've got more responsibilities, you can't just eat whatever you want anymore and get away with it, right? You've built bad habits. I now realize that I'm coming up on 40 that I built some terrible habits in my 20s and 30s. It was like, I'm an athlete, so I can have double food, and people treat you like that. Like, hey, we made seconds extra for you and stuff like that. And like, I don't need seconds anymore. I just need enough protein. And then actually, that's it. I just need to look after myself. I don't need to be eating like crazy. And I'm not doing it to myself this holiday. So you heard it here first. I am not coming out of this holiday feeling like I just poisoned myself. Any more comments? Eric, thank you for letting us listen into a bit of your story. Yeah. And like I said, I like it that it's not like I lost 100 pounds. Like they're great stories, right? But most people, it's a slow creep. It's 5 years. You put on a couple of pounds a year, and the next thing you know, 20 pounds overweight. You feel like crap. If ever you put on a 20-pound weight vest and try to work out, you know that it's a different workout. All right, let's have a look what else we were talking about. Okay, the garlic thing is all right, so Whitney chews on raw garlic for a few days when she has a cold. That can't be true. All right, Keith says the spicy factor of raw garlic is good for the respiratory system. What is wrong with you guys? Kiki, this changes nothing. The fact that Keith and Whitney agree with you on the garlic for me means there's no way that Whitney is, if she feels like she's getting a cold, she starts chewing on garlic, raw garlic. Because I've been around Whitney and she doesn't smell like she chews raw garlic. Oh, God. 4 people. Who are these? Who are my friends? I love garlic and dirt. You sure do. But you guys are not chewing on raw garlic as a prevent. Like I'd have to be so sick. They have to be like, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. You have to. You're about to die. Try this garlic, and I'd be like, it's the last resort. Chew on some garlic. I mean, have you tried Zycam? Try Zycam. Just makes your mouth taste like you've had an orange. That's about it. Yeah, I will at the end of this because Lucas will be at training today, and we'll just be like, nobody does that, and we'll both agree, and we'll move on from this garlic nonsense. All right, so what else we got going on this week? Lauren's got a podcast guest tomorrow, one of her clients at 10 a.m., which will be fun, and then I'm back on Thursday, and I think my special guest is the owner of the Little Gym. So that's going to be cool. He's a member at Oxfit in Grant Park and just opened a badass gymnastics place. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. Yeah, I mean, that place is awesome. Both my kids go there now. Mia's in the pre-K gymnastics. She loved it. She loves it so much that she asked me to come and watch her on the weekend. And she's never done that before. So I was like, let's go. So I got to go to a gymnastics practice, and she wanted me to watch her she does forward rolls down a ramp, walks across the high beam. She's trying to do what do they call pullover or like a backflip on the bar, She's trying to get that down. And then Leo's actually going today. If he's feeling a little bit better, he's not sick, but the school started late today because the heating's out. Mia is sick, so we're just like, all right, we'll just keep them both. So hopefully he's feeling good enough to go to gymnastics later. What else do you guys want to talk about? I've got a few minutes because I don't think I can focus on any work this morning. What else we got coming up? Savannah's wedding week. As you all know, it's Kira's birthday week. She won't shut up about it. It's a big one, 31. Huge birthday. Probably the biggest one. I mean, it's 31. Everybody remembers their 31st birthday, right? What did you do for your 31st birthday? If anybody remembers what they did for the 31st birthday, I'll give you $10. What else have we been thinking about? Kiki, we get it. It's your birthday. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I had a good time. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to pull it together after this morning, but I think I did okay. And Eric made it easy. So I will see you at the gym. Hope you had a good workout today. Bench press is always a fun workout. And tune in at 10 a.m. tomorrow to hang out with Lauren and one of her clients. And yeah, let's move on from the garlic and let's find some actual remedies to keep you healthy. Maybe I'll do a podcast on that. Some actual remedies instead of whatever it is you freaks are talking about. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next